Hey everybody, hope you guys had a good weekend and all that stuff. Today's going to be your video for April 20th. Make sure you're staying on top of things. Again, take out a brand new sheet of paper, label it as April 20th or 4-20, and then make sure that you are uploading your picture of your notes and your homework to the Google Doc that I assign. Also remember, be checking your homeworks. It is hard for me, you guys, to check everybody's answer. I just kind of check for if it kind of looks right if you've been doing this stuff, because I have to check about 100 and something kids every day on their notes and their homework. So make sure that you're looking at the homework answer keys the following day, and then you're letting me know if you're missing a lot or you need any extra help, okay? So you can get a hold of me through email, Google Hangouts or chat or whatever you guys use, and then just let me know. All right, you guys, so we're gonna jump into today. Today, we're still going to be focusing on right triangle trig, but we're going to introduce some special triangles that we need to know. So this is a special right triangle known as the 45-45-90 triangle because the two acute angles are 45 degrees, and then obviously it's a right triangle, so a 90. Now, the sides of these are known. In geometry, you learned it a little bit different. You learned it as x rad 2, but we plug in 1 for x now that we're in Algebra 2 and then moving on to like trig pre-calc. So the sides will be 1, 1, and then rad 2. That should be memorized. So in a normal classroom setting, I'd say that you should make a note card. And on one side, it should say 45 degrees, 90 degrees. And on the back side, this picture should be drawn. And you should know it and be able to use it. Same thing for our other special triangle, the 30-60-90 triangle. Across from 30 is 1, across from 60 is rad 3, and across from 90 is 2. Now again, you learned that a little bit different in geometry, but once you get into Algebra 2 and trig pre-calc, this is the triangle that we want to use. You learned it as x rad 3, and 2x, but we plug in 1 for x. Now again, this should be memorized. All right, but since we're at e-learning, I guess if you have it, you could at least refer back to it always. So we're going to do some right triangle trig, but remember, we do need to know our specials. So when I look at number 1, the first thing I do is I make sure I choose the correct trig function, sine, cosine, or tangent. Now we labeled the sides last week, so if you need to go back and look at that, please do so. But I would set up this equation, and you can pause to make sure, remember, you can maybe set it up by yourself. You should have set up sine of 30 degrees is equal to the opposite side 4 over the hypotenuse x. So remember, if you label this as opposite and that as hypotenuse, you should know that it was sine. Now, once you see 30 degrees, 45, or 60 degrees, you should not use your calculator anymore. You should reference your special right triangles and set up a ratio from the special right triangles into this equation. So if I'm going to do the sine of 30 degrees, I would put my finger on 30 degrees and I do the opposite over the hypotenuse. Well, the opposite of 30 degrees is 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. So that means the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. Now, if you don't believe me, type that in your calculator right now. Type sine of 30 degrees and 0.5 will pop out on your calculator, which is 1/2. See, we should know that using our special right triangles. So next, we still have equals for x. And whenever this is called a proportion, a fraction equals a fraction, we cross multiply. So I take the bottom right times the top left equals the bottom left times the top right, and this one is actually solved. X is equal to 8. All right, the next one, you guys, you look at it and you would set up a trig function. So you can pause and see if you set it up correctly. You should have set up tangent of 70 degrees is equal to 9 over x. Now, you look at your special triangles and you'd realize you don't know anything about 70 degrees at all. You only know things about the 30, 45, or 60 degree angles. So this is one that you have to use your calculator. So we're not going to use the special triangles always. Just remember, it's because you learn something doesn't mean you always use it. We got to use our calculator for this problem. So to get x by itself, the first thing I will do is multiply both sides by x. On the right side, the x's reduce or cancel out. And I have x times the tangent of 70 degrees equals 9. I'll divide both sides by the tangent of 70 degrees. And on the left side, they reduce or cancel. And I have x is equal to, and I type that in my calculator. If you type in 9 divided by the tangent of 70 degrees, you get approximately 3.3 rounded. All right, your final example for the day in notes, and remember you will have homework to do, but I'll show that to you on the video in just a second, is we're gonna do a 45-degree angle here. Well, think about what trig function you would set up, press pause, and did you come up with cosine of 45 degrees is equal to x over 5 rad 2. So that's the adjacent side, that's the hypotenuse, so it's the ca of the SOHCAHTOA model. Now, once you see a 30, 45, or 60-degree angle, you must reference your special triangles. We should not use a calculator. So you could type this in your calculator, but it'd be this really ugly decimal number. Well, why is it a really ugly decimal number is, I can look back at 45 degrees, either one of them, and I'll do cosine of 45 degrees using this triangle. The adjacent side is 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. So using that triangle, I get 1 over rad 2 is equal to x over 5 rad 2. So all I did was I simplified cosine of 45 degrees using the values in my special triangle. Now, this is a little bit thing you can do to just explore. Do the cosine of 45 degrees in your calculator. It's an ugly decimal number. Do 1 divided by rad 2, it's an ugly decimal number, but it's the same ugly decimal number. So those are equal to each other. Now, we'll cross multiply. Again, bottom right times top left. 5 rad 2 times 1 is 5 rad 2 is equal to bottom left times top right. Rad 2 times x, any radical we put at the end, so we call it x rad 2. And then to get x by itself, you'll divide by the radical. So divide by rad 2, they cross off. Divide by rad 2, and on the left side, they actually also cross off or simplify. So we have 5 is equal to x as our final answer. All right, you guys, so all we did today was we did right triangle trig, just like we did last week, except for now, if you ever see a 45-degree angle, you must use these numbers to plug in for your trig function. And if you ever see a 30 or 60, you must use these numbers correctly to plug in a fraction for your trig function. All right, you guys, it's your boy, Mr. P, and here are your 3 homework problems. Good luck, and then make sure you put it into the Google Doc. Here it is, focused. All right, you can pause the video, write them down, and solve for x. Have a great day.